Hi there, I'm Worm. Welcome to Worm Studio. Today I'm going to redo an older painting of my OC Diana. This is her. And this has been my favorite painting since I made it a few years back, so I wanted to make a bit of a different one, a newer version. This was my favorite sketch of the bunch, so I decided to go with this one. I made this painting with my Arteza gouaches, and I didn't record me sketching because it always takes me ages to get it right on the canvas, and nobody wants to watch me redraw every line over and over again, but I went over my final lines with red so I knew which ones to follow. I used this pretty scarlet red for her base color. I thought it fit perfectly, so I filled the whole thing in with a flat base color first. This character doesn't really have much of a story, she's more just a comfort character. If I want to draw but I don't know what to draw, she's my go-to. Basically just a collection of guilty pleasures like a curvy shape, long wavy hair, fun skin color, her horns, the tail, she's just fun to draw. I started adding in light shading with the crimson red, but I darkened it up later since it ended up drying in a similar shade as her base color. It wasn't very noticeable. I used the scarlet red mixed with a bit of white to make a highlight color, but as we'll see in this video, I keep going over it because it never looked light enough. The gouaches were giving me a lot of trouble this time. No matter how long I let the layer underneath dry, anything I put on top just lifted the color under it. Even while shading, it just picked up the color underneath and left the white of the canvas peeking through, so I ended up going over this painting a million times before I was able to properly build color. This is where I changed my camera angle because I realized the paint was just a glare. I went back and forth with shadows, midtones, and highlights a few times before getting to the stage I was happy with. We're not done with the body, but I got started on the tail and the hair while I was waiting for the body to dry. They're both just black straight out of the tube. After the body had dried a bit, I went in with the crimson red mixed with a bit of reddish brown to make it darker and started defining the harsher shadows. To give her skin a bit of a color shift, I added some yellow to the highlight points, just like I had done in the original drawing. I then went over the yellow with a tiny bit of white to try and brighten it up, but it didn't get as bright as I had wanted, so I let it dry a bit and redid those spots later. I did a few tiny corrections on the tail and the hair before going in with my liner brush and dark brown to outline the whole thing. I quickly switched to pure black anyway, since the dark brown just looked like shadows and not like an outline. After getting the initial outline done, I used some orange yellow, the same as I used for the highlights, to fill in the circle in the background. Here I used some of the yellow on my brush to go over her skin again and blended that out before continuing with the background. I came back to this painting the next day and I couldn't help but notice that her hand was way too small, so I painted over it in red, resized it a bit, and ended up basically repainting her whole hand and stomach area. I didn't record the whole process since you already saw me do that before, but here's some little snippets of me repainting the hand. this is where I went in with white mixed with the tiniest bit of yellow to really bring out those highlights. I finished up the background and did a few touch-ups in the line work, since redoing her whole stomach and hand and having some yellow overlapping the outline just looked messy. Then I added in the wavy hair strands in front. I went over her fur on her shoulders and legs and made a few last-minute tweaks on the tail. I was going to leave the background just plain canvas, but after looking at it for a while and seeing that I hadn't stayed in the circle too well while filling it in, I decided to take pure white paint and fill the background behind the circle. At first I did this with gouache, but those tubes are pretty small and I didn't want to waste my gouache on just filling in a blank space, so I got out my almost empty white acrylic paint and it worked much better. I fixed up the circle, made the edges of the tail crisp, and used the last little bit on my brush to once again go over the highlights. I mixed the last drops of white acrylic in with some red and yellow to make a salmon pink. I like making borders around my canvases because it looks framed in a way. All the drawings in my room have frames, and this makes everything look a bit more unified. Also, bare canvas edges just don't look that good. With the border and the white done, I finished this painting off by adding the little waves to her hair. This is the finished Diana painting. If you enjoyed watching me paint this, I'd appreciate it if you'd consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching.